Folks, it's time. Your frugal prepper. I am working on this van. I just wanted to show you where I was. I have a pile of parts down here. They're just kind of piling up. I'll get into the part. I'm not sure about getting it back together. We'll see. I've got the upper intake manifold off, the alternators off. I got the engine rolled forward with these ratchet straps. I doubled them up because they're just 600-pound ones. I want to make sure. I've had to take, all that wiring stuff there loose. And there's all these wiring connectors. I'm pretty sure I still have to get like the power steering pump and all that stuff off. And I'll just work my way down. I've just been kind of going through the instructions, and a few things aren't in the instructions on this all data. Or they tell you something, but they don't, like, they tell you take off the bracket, but they don't give you instructions on how to take off the bracket, and you have to go hunting to see if they have any. It's not exactly a Haynes manual, but anyway, I got it up in the air just so it's easier on my back mostly. I got the antifreeze drained out of it. Good thing is that I don't think that probably any damage to the engine really. The oil is clean. It's not got a bunch of like antifreeze or anything in it. So I'm hoping the bottom end's okay, and this will just all be top end stuff. And it only had all the antifreeze I drained out of it fit in one 2-liter bottle. So it was almost completely out of antifreeze, which it was burning it, so I'm not surprised. I got off of work a little bit early today and started on this, and I'm going to see what I can get this weekend. The gaskets have finally come in, so I'm on to figure out how to take that lower intake manifold off now and increase my pile of parts. And putting it back together will be the fun part. But so far so good. It's been a lot of stuff to take apart and work with, and it's combined spaces, but I haven't had any like majorly like rusted bolts or anything that was just completely impossible to do. Hasn't been real hard work. It's just been time consuming. I'm taking it slow and peeling back the layers. I'm sure if I was a mechanic I would be a lot faster, but I'm just a dude with a toolbox and some stuff. So I'm gonna see what I can do. I'll keep you updated as I go and just kind of show you how it's going. Alright, that's it for now. I'll be back. Alright, well, my pile of parts has grown a little bit more. I got the fuel injector, all that stuff off of there, and then I labeled the cylinders for the fuel injector wire, so I make sure I get those back where they go. And then I've taken everything loose from the lower intake, and I'm at the spot. I had to take the power steering pump loose and set it off to the side there. Radiator hose loose. I had to take this like whatever thingy here. I think it's something from the EGR or something that went in there. Take that loose. I'm just kind of bungee cording everything off to the side out of my way to hold it away from the engine while I'm working. So, according to the all data, all I have left to do now is take these bolts out of the upper intake, or the lower intake, and the lower intake should come off. That gets me down to the heads, and I'm ready to tackle getting those off next. So, been kind of a fun job. I'm about to wrap it up here soon. I'm going to see if I can get this lower intake off before I call it a night. But it's not been a crazy fun job, but it's not been bad, just time consuming. All the bolts are in weird places, just takes every little like universal and wobble a little bit and like everything I have to get all these different bolts out. So it's a lot of going back and forth to the toolbox and trying to figure out what fits to get into the tight spot to get the bolt loose. But it's coming. Putting it back together is probably going to be the really fun part. Alright, I'll talk to y'all later. Hey folks, so I got the lower intake manifold off. Man, there was like none of the bolts were real tight, and 3 or 4 of them were pretty like loose. And then the gas, I mean the whole intake, just I thought I'd have to pry on it and stuff. It just I pulled it off with my hands and lifted it off. I mean, so I don't think this gasket was sealing real great. That might have been part of the whole issue. I mean, that gasket's just not stuck to anything. But that's off. So now I've got the engine rolled forward by this bracket, but I'm going to have to let it down and roll it back at some point because this bracket's bolted to the side of the head. So I'm going to try to get the back head off before I unbolt this bracket, or at least get the bolts out of it and get it loose, because I'm not sure about the exhaust, how that unbolts from the head yet. I think this cover comes off, and then there's some bolts up right by the head that you can loosen, or I think some people take the exhaust pipe loose down there and take them both off together, but I think I'm going to do them independently if I can. I know these push rods are different lengths, and I think there's one length for intake and one length for exhaust, but I'm not sure. I'm just going to poke some holes in the box and label them, you know, cylinder 1, you know, intake, exhaust, cylinder 2, intake, exhaust. Just put them in order the way they are in an engine, just poke them in the holes so I get them all back in the right spots. And then I think I'm getting close to being ready to pull the heads. I still have some other stuff I'll have to unbolt on the sides of them and everything, but I'm getting down to it. It's a little about 10:30 now. I might go ahead and pull these push rods out, and then I'm probably gonna start calling it a night and take off with this again tomorrow. But it's getting there. Maybe I'll get it running this weekend. I got my eBay gaskets. I haven't opened the box. That's my eBay gasket set, not box right up there. So I think it's time to pull out these push rods, and then I'll clean up, organize the tools, my pile of bolts. I have to figure out where it's back. Oh boy. Luckily, I'm pretty good at remembering what I did and putting stuff back the way I took it apart. I have to do that a lot with laptops and stuff too. So I'm pretty good even at like having to order the parts and wait a couple weeks and remembering how it goes back together. So I think I'll be alright. But this is it's a challenging job. I've had to use all my secret tools, my wobbles and everything else to get to all these bolts and everything. It's been a little crazy. But yeah, now it's just going to be cleaning up and you know, once I get these heads off, clean everything, make sure all my surfaces and everything are good and clean so that everything seals good, and put it back together in reverse order how I took it apart. So yeah, it's a bit of a job. I don't know if I'd want to do another one of these. I guess I would if I was getting paid for it. So anyway, that's how it's going. I'll talk to y'all later.